Have you ever been completely confused about how to manage your career? You're not alone. Career management is a confusing topic because everyone has unique career experiences, history, and goals. This season, we are helping you create a solid career management plan that we are calling Be Your Own Board: Strategies for Career Management. We will be treating your career like a business and applying the top executive board positions to your career management. You will step into each board position and evaluate your career based on the roles each position is responsible for. I'm looking forward to helping you manage and advance in your career. Welcome to the last episode in season 4, Be Your Own Board, where we are putting you in the positions of an executive board as it relates to your career. This week's episode is our Q&A episode where I answer common questions I've seen from followers and listeners. I think for some, there was a bit of confusion about how to apply this process and structure to your career. For those just tuning in, this process is about treating your career like a business and becoming the executive board of that business. I created and walked through 6 different positions and personas that you would find on an executive board of a business and describe their role in a way that relates to your career. In the first episode, we had the CEO. You are the CEO of your career, and there are certain tasks you need to know and do. There are other positions where you might want to enlist some help and outsource, like the CFO or the Chief Financial Officer. But you still need to know and understand the position and needs to be successful. This process is a way for those who are familiar and used to a corporate structure to use it to their advantage in their career. So let's get into some specific questions. I'll remind you again that I don't share who asked the question because most of my clients and followers are employed and don't want their information out there. Question number 1. Julia, this seems like a lot of stuff to do. Is there an easier process? Listen, I hear you. This process is extremely comprehensive. Most people won't look at all these areas at one time, and I don't suggest you do that either. Choose an area that needs the most attention first based on your goals or biggest barriers right now. For example, for some, finances are a huge barrier because they are drowning in debt and their current career isn't cutting it from a salary standpoint. For this person, I would recommend handling finances first so you know your goals and then manage a career transition second. This is meant to be an overview of everything to give you an idea of where you need to focus. It's all about strategy. Some of it you may have never thought of before, and it's something that could really help elevate your career or your life. Don't forget, there's a free PDF that outlines each position and the tasks associated so you can start working through it. All right, next question. Can you talk more about being a professional student and how that can be negative? I thought having more education was a good move. In some careers, having significant education makes sense, but not for most. I used to work in higher education and I saw this all the time. A student wasn't ready to graduate or not confident in their ability to get a job, so they kept adding degrees or certifications to extend their student status. In some cases, professors will encourage students who don't seem ready to pursue additional education to help bridge their experience, maturity, or learning gap. Is that ethical? But it's a way to help keep students in the classroom and then also to help keep employment rates high when they do graduate. Education is an amazing asset and tool when it's appropriate for your career path. Even though I worked in higher education and I'm a huge advocate for people to have a degree, it's not for everyone. Not every career requires you to get a degree. Why spend 4 years getting a degree when you can do training for a trade if that's what you want? Some professionals just love to learn, and that's why they keep getting degrees, certificates, or certifications. That's okay, as long as you know why you're doing it. Do you need a PhD, or will a certification or certificate suffice? Be intentional and think about why you want more education and how it will benefit you. Given where the world is right now, higher education is likely going to see an increase maybe, because so many people have lost their jobs. For some, this is the push they need to get an MBA or another degree they actually want. And that's okay, as long as you are making a strategic decision and not a decision based on your perceived inability to get a job. Let's go on to the next question, because I could go on for hours about higher education, its recruiting tactics, and getting jobs post-grad. You talk a lot about finances, and I listened to the CFO episode. Honestly, I don't see a situation where I can make more money and my expenses are what they are. Now what? Yes, finances are hard. We all struggle with them in some way. It does not matter what your income level is. The point of this CFO episode is to get you started and give you direction, which it sounds like you now have. I'm not sure about the specific situation here and why you feel like you can't make more money, but you absolutely can make more money. You can pick up side work, a side hustle, do odd jobs, etc. There's always an opportunity to make some additional cash. I talked a lot about analyzing your expenses and budget because that's the quickest way to find additional cash per month. If your expenses are high and you're barely making it, then you still have choices. Now, you might not like these choices, but you have them. You can move, you can sell and get a new car, you can change certain habits that make you spend more money. You can meal plan or buy in bulk. There are options, but we aren't always willing to make those tough choices. I believe it's a combination of all of it. Adjust your spending as best you can and make at least one hard choice. Examine your skill set and determine if you have a skill that can be monetized on the side. Writing, graphic design, coaching, social media, odd jobs, etc. Long term, start looking at your career options. It's likely that you can advance and make more money, but you might need some additional skills or you need to change companies to really move up in your field. Again, some hard choices, but they are available. I don't believe that anyone is stuck in a situation. You always have a choice. The final question of this season is about being laid off due to COVID. I wasn't going to take this question, but given what's happening in the world, I think it's important to make sure that I'm talking about what's hurting people right now. Early in quarantine, my company was fine, and we all transitioned to working at home. As the quarantine has gone on, the company has been laying people off in waves depending on how we've been doing. I made it through 3 rounds of layoffs before it was my turn. Now I'm not sure what to do next. Ugh. My heart breaks for stories like these, and they are unfortunately very common these days across multiple sectors. First, I want to say that you are not alone, and I'm sure you know that. I would find a few other people, either from your company or in your circle, who have also been laid off, and be a support for each other. Second, determine if you want to continue what you're doing. Figure out your transferable skills and see if there are other careers you might thrive in. Use ONET Online to research. I'll link that in the show notes. Third, take to LinkedIn. Announce what happened and ask for what you need. Don't say a job, because that's obvious. Ask for connections in certain industries or functional areas and start specifically messaging your connections who you know could help. Along with those messages, start positioning content on LinkedIn that highlights your expertise in your career or what career you want to go into. Finally, keep your spirits high and see this as an opportunity. What will this downtime allow you to do that you've wanted to do? Can you spend more time with family, show up different, do a training, learn a new skill? Mourn for a few days and then get going. Unemployment will only last so long. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about managing yourself and managing others in this process, specifically about being your own board. The reality is we all can't encompass every single position. So as I said in the beginning, the whole point of this season is to make you aware of all the different components that go into your career management and advancement. And it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. That's why people end up hiring coaches and strategists like me, because they need help managing and figuring out, where do I start? What do I do? What's the priority? So don't feel overwhelmed by this season. It is meant to be a taste of what you need to think about and what you need to look at with regard to your career. If there's an area that you know is really hard for you and you are not motivated to do it, but you know that it's something you need. I always use finances because that seems to be a huge barrier for a lot of people, but it could also be marketing. It could be learning a new skill. If you're not motivated, you're not going to want to learn. If you're looking at those areas and going, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start, that's where you can find somebody else to partner with. You can find a coach. You can find resources specifically in that area to help level you up. You don't have to do it all on your own, and I definitely don't recommend that you do it on your own. And in some cases, if you are in a relationship, if you have family, a significant other, you're going to want to bring them into the fold too. And in some cases, they might be the person that helps you manage this. But part of the point of this episode is you being in the driver's seat initially, you taking control and understanding the landscape of your career as a whole and going, oh, here's what I'm good at. Here's what I really liked, right? So if you listen to an episode and you go, oh, this is so much fun. I really like doing this, the marketing or the learning or the CEO, whatever. Then you get to another area and you think, ooh, I am not good at this. I don't like it. I'm not motivated listening to it. It's making me cringe. That's when you know you need to bring in additional help. So that's where I would start. If you are overwhelmed or if you aren't sure where to start, download the PDF and go through and check the things off for each position that you enjoy. Whatever has the least amount of check marks, that's where you're going to want to employ some help. Whatever has the most amount of check marks, that's probably going to be your own sweet spot that you're going to want to put a little bit more time in for yourself. All right, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you for joining me, and check out the channel trailer for the new format of the podcast starting in 2021. For those interested in coaching, I'm launching my Control Your Career program, a transformational career strategy program to help you advance in your career and life. I'd love to discuss the program with you and if you would be a good fit for where you are in your career and what you need. Send me a message on social media or email hello@ridethetidecollective.com. As always, you can connect with Ride the Tide Collective on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook for any questions or comments.